also it contains some industry members. So industry members, which is also European Federation, pharmaceutical industries are present. Then Japan Pharmaceutical Manufacturers Association present. Then Pharmaceutical Research and Manufacturers of the America is present. Then also it contains some Canada Regulatory Authority, Switzerland Regulatory Authorities is present. Then Brazil Regulatory Authority, Mexico Regulatory Authority, Singapore, Republic of Korea, China, Saudi Arabia, then Taipei, Turkey, then IFPMA, WHO, Azerbaijan, Argentina, then Indian regulatory authorities, which is also present in that, then Cuba, Israel, Egypt, Indonesia, Colombia, Jordan, UK, Moldova, Lebanon, Kazakhstan, Malaysia, Iran, Russia, like all these different countries, regulatory authorities, which is also present here in the ICH. So it's not only contain the founder members, some other countries regulatory representative, including the industry expert, which is also present here as a members of the ICH. Okay, so when you go through these ICH organization, it has some structures. So basically, four different types of structures are present, which is like there is an ICH steering committee is present, then there is an ICH coordinators are present, then there is an ICH secretariat present, then ICH working groups are present. Okay, so this is the four main structures of the ICH. So what is the aim of the ICH? Aim of ICH?
Safe quality efficacy
Medicines are developed. So who are the founder members?
European Union,
European Union, Japan, US.
Japan and USA. Is it only contain regulatory authorities?
no, ma'am.
No, then who is also contained?
Industrial experts.
Present here in the ICH. In which year the ICH was formed?
1990.
1990. Okay, in 1990 it was formed. Then now it's about the structure of the ICH committee. So it's contained a steering committee. So what is the role of the steering committee? So this steering committee, they governs the ICH. So they are mainly the main member of this ICH. It governs the ICH. So for working for the ICH, there will be have some policies or procedures will be present. That is preparing by the steering committee. For every committee, there will be some roles. There will be some functions will be present. There will be some procedures have to do. There will be some policies will be present. So all these policies, procedures, which is prepared by the steering committee, and they select the topics for the harmonization, and they will monitor how the activities is progression is going on. Then these 6 ICH parties now that founder members, European Union, Japan, US, which contain industry and the regulatory authority. These 6 ICH parties, they have 2 seats in the steering committee. Okay, they always have 2 seats in the ICH steering committee. So that is a one party. It contains ICH steering committee. Then it's contained another one, which is ICH coordinators. So these ICH coordinators, they will help for the smooth functioning of the ICH. Okay, they help for the smooth functioning of the ICH. And these ICH coordinators, which is nominated by this 6 party, and also they are acting as a main contact point with the ICH secretariat. So there is an ICH secretariat is present. So these ICH secretariat, which prepare the documentation of any ICH meeting. Okay, the ICH secretariat, they prepare the documentation of the ICH meeting. And also they coordinate the preparation of the working group and the discussion in the group meeting. And they um, following the information which can be obtained from the ICH secretariat, and they will help for the preparation of the ICH guideline, then ICH procedures, and they will there will be an ICH working groups is present. So these ICH working group which contain members like expert working group is present, and implementation working group is present, and informal working groups are present. So these ICH working groups which will prepare our different guidelines. So I will just show you one thing. I will just open this ICH website. Okay, just a 1 second. Just give me 1 second. I will open this ICH website. Visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So this is our ICH website. Okay. So here you can see there is a homes are present, ICH related information here it is present. Then ICH working products are present, meeting, training, newsroom, like different informations are present. So we discussed about different guideline which is prepared by the ICH, right? So these are the 4 different guidelines which is prepared by our ICH. So which are the 4 different guidelines? Quality guideline,
Safety guidelines.
guideline, efficacy guideline, and multidisciplinary guideline. Right. So first one is about the quality guideline. So what it contain in the quality guideline? So quality Q. Okay. So quality it's Q. So this contain giving the details about chemical and pharmaceutical quality assurance. The giving the information about chemical and pharmaceutical quality assurance. Then efficacy guidelines are present. So efficacy guideline it contain about the human study information. So here in this efficacy section, it's giving the GCP guideline also. Then there is a safety guidelines are present. So what it giving? Safety guideline which giving the preclinical study information which is given by the safety guideline S. Then there is a multidisciplinary guideline is present M. So multidisciplinary guideline it is giving you some other topics which is not matching with the quality, efficacy, safety, which is present in the multidisciplinary section. So I will show you where you can see this guideline in this. So can you see the website?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So can you see here there is a working products which I opened.
Yes.
Yes. So here in that you can see that there is a title is given ICH guideline.
Yes.
Is it need to zoom or can you read it?
Yes, ma'am.
We can read it.
Okay. So we can go to this or guideline. Okay. So about this different information about the different guidelines, here it is given. So quality guideline. So let's see that what are the different information which is given in the quality guideline. Okay, so this is our quality guideline. So in the quality guideline, total, it gives 14 guidelines are present in the quality section. Okay, quality guideline, 14 sections are present. So quality guideline, it gives about the stability related information, analytical validation, impurities, pharmacopoeias, quality of biotechnological product, specification. So good manufacturing practices guideline. Why we are using the good manufacturing practices guideline? You may hear about no good manufacturing practices guideline, GMP.
GMP.
GMP certification.
For the manufacturing of the product, we have to follow this guideline. So here it is given. Okay, good manufacturing practices, pharmaceutical development, quality and risk management, pharmaceutical quality system, development and manufacture drug substances, life cycle management, continuous manufacturing of the drug substances and drug products, analytical procedure development, like the different guidelines which is given in the quality guideline. Then we require another guideline. What is that? Efficacy guideline. So what is given in our efficacy guideline? Which guideline here we require? Which guideline here we require?
Efficacy guideline.
Efficacy guideline. The efficacy guideline which we are going to be discussed in our next section.
GCP.
GCP guideline. So what is the number of the GCP guideline?
E6.
E6. So here in that different efficacy guidelines are given. So what is the total number of the efficacy guideline is given?
21.
Yes, 21 guidelines are given. So here about these different guidelines we will discuss in our other session. So here is just giving the introduction about this. Okay, so here the clinical safety drugs which is used in the long-term treatment, their pharmacovigilance, clinical study report. What is clinical study report? In our introduction we discussed that clinical study report.
Scientific document
Mm.
about every detail about clinical trial and research.
Yes, every details about the clinical study which is done and what is the result which we got, that is present in the clinical study report. So that clinical study report which have to be prepared by using this ICH guideline. Okay. Then dose response studies, ethnic factors in clinical studies, good clinical practices, clinical trial in geriatric population, general considerations for clinical trial, statistical principles for clinical trial, choice of control groups in clinical trial, clinical trials in pediatric population, clinical evaluation by therapeutic category, clinical evaluation of QT, definition of pharmacogenetics, qualification of genomic markers, multi-regional clinical trial, genomic sampling, safety data collection, adaptive clinical trial, inclusion of pregnant and breastfeeding individuals in clinical trial, like 21 guidelines which is given here in the section. So safety guideline, what it will give? Do you know anything about these things? Do you hear about anything?
Toxicology studies.
Preclinical studies.
Preclinical guideline.
Yes, absolutely. When it discussed about the drug discovery and development, there was some toxicity study related information. So in that carcinogenicity studies, toxicity studies, reproductive, like different toxicity studies which we saw. So that related safety guidelines gives the preclinical studies information, non-clinical testing. Okay, non-clinical testing information which is given. So here it's about the carcinogenicity studies, genotoxicity studies, toxicokinetics, pharmacokinetics, toxicity testing, reproductive toxicology study, biotechnological products, immunotoxicology studies, non-clinical evaluation and anti-cancer pharmaceuticals, photo safety evaluation, non-clinical pediatric safety, non-clinical biodistribution consideration of gene therapy products. So like different preclinical studies are given. Then what is the last one?
Multidisciplinary.
Multidisciplinary guideline. So let's see. Multidisciplinary guideline. So here, which is any of the guideline which is prepared by the ICS, which is not meeting the quality, safety, efficacy, which is not meeting any of the category, and such category of the guideline which is present here. So here it contains MEDRA terminology, electronic standard, non-clinical safety studies, common technical documents. Then data elements and standards